Hello, this tutorial is going to be about doing free motion embroidery or free motion quilting. And I'm going to actually start by showing you how to set the machine up for this because it's a little bit different. So you know about your normal presser foot, this presser foot here. And what you should also know is that the presser foot can come off quite easily. There's just a little lever at the back here that we click and that can come off. And there are so many different feet. I've just got a couple of examples of different feet for you. You could be putting on a zipper foot. You might have seen me do this in a different class. So you could put a zipper foot on either way so that you can get nice and close to a zipper when you're sewing it. There are things like this one which help you to roll a hem as you sew. There is this fantastic one which helps you create a buttonhole. So all of these ones just slip onto that same little anchor down there. However, with doing free motion embroidery, we have a very different looking foot. We've got this presser foot, and for this one I'm actually going to have to take off the whole needle shaft. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver, wherever that's gone, there it is. So I'm going to take the whole needle shaft off from here. Unscrew that one, and that you'll see that falls off there. So don't lose that one. Keep that with probably just your normal universal presser foot. And this one is going to attach on behind like this. It's going to come over top of here. And you can sort of see where it slots in here. And then I just tighten that on. Okay, so I've got the foot on. Now you see with this foot, there are a couple of different types of free motion feet that you can get. You see this one's got a completely sort of closed in hook or hoop here that my needle will go through. Now the other thing that we need to do to set up for this, because with free motion it's not going to be the machine taking the fabric for you. You are going to be the one moving the fabric around. Normally what moves the fabric around for you is these feed dogs down here. These tough grooves. That's what's grabbing onto the fabric and moving them around. We are going to actually take this off for a moment. You can put it back on, or you can leave it off if you need to. And behind the machine, there is, hopefully you can see that on the camera, there's this little switch down here, and that will drop your feed dogs. So at the moment, it should be set for my feed dogs to be up. I'm going to move it to the other side there. And that's called dropping my feed dogs. So what you'll see here is that those feed dogs have now slipped down quite low. So they're no longer going to be grabbing your fabric for you. Now I'm going to keep my machine just on a normal straight stitch. You can change to a zigzag stitch, but I'm going to demonstrate on a straight stitch first. You don't really need to worry too much about the length because the length is what normally the feed dogs are controlling. I'm going to keep my width on 0 for this though. So I'll turn my machine on. Now what I've done for fabrics is to sort of set it up a little bit like quilting would be. I have got 2 layers of fabric sandwiching 1 layer of wadding, because that's what you might have if you were doing a quilt. Now you know that often if we're doing seams and things, we'd be sewing right sides together. This time we're not. We're sandwiching everything the way it's going to be when it's finished. So our right sides are facing outwards, and in the middle we have a piece of wadding. So I'm going to get this under the presser foot. Fabric is quite high. You might actually need to lift that presser foot up a little bit higher than normal just to get it under. And then we still put the presser foot down, but what you'll see when you put it down is actually there's not much difference between it being up and being down. You'll see you can still move your fabric really easily through there. So all I have to do now is start to sew. And I have to actually manually move the fabric around where I want it to go. So what I need to be really cautious of is finding a balance between how fast I'm making the machine go and how fast I'm moving my fabric. If I move my fabric too fast while my machine's not sewing very fast, I'll get this. And I'll get these really, really big stitches that aren't really going to hold very well. But if I move my fabric too slow while my machine's going quite fast, I'm just sort of sewing on the spot too much, I could be damaging my fabric a little bit. I could start to cause knots. And I'm just doing these teeny tiny stitches, which are not great. So I need to find a nice balance between how fast I'm moving my fabric and how fast my needle is moving from my foot on the pedal. So have a little play around with that, and you'll see that you are able to move it around wherever you like and create your own shapes. So it really is just about practicing the speed and the feel of the speed that you need to move. You do also need to be a little bit more cautious with your fingers, because obviously your fingers are now moving here, there, and everywhere, and your fabric is not moving through in the normal direction that you're used to. So you do need to be very focused to stay safe and not catch your fingers. You could do a variety of patterns with this. You probably noticed I was just sort of following the pattern that was on the fabric. You might not have a pattern on the fabric that you're quilting. You might want to do some swirls. You could do some cross hatching. You could create little floral shapes. You could create little circles. There's all sorts of different things that you could do. So just have you could do a bit of research as well, and have a little practice and see what you can find. When you're ready to stop, you need to just sew a couple of stitches in the same place rather than doing a back stitch. And that will help to secure those stitches for you. And you should do that at the start as well. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. And you can see a few of the different ththings. I'm not very skilled at this myself. Tried to do a little bit of colouring in there. Kind of could have gone better if I'd spent a bit longer on it. Tried to do a little bit of following the lines, did some swirls, did some sort of little leafy pattern. So yeah, have a little play around and see how you go.